Good evening, everyone. I want to talk about emptiness for just a moment. And I know many people will see this topic and keep scrolling or not even try to tune in to what I'm about to say. And a lot of times it's because we really don't want to face reality. We don't want to come unto the knowledge of the truth about what life really is about. And many times throughout life, we do that. We do that when the Lord is trying to call us, trying to get our attention. And we know this when we feel that pull and that tug on our hearts. We know He's calling us. But we like to stay in a place of comfort. We like to continue going throughout life, just trying to fill that void, that emptiness with every and anything that we can because we like pleasure. We like what makes us feel good. And many people know that there's an emptiness, like there's a lack for something, but a lot of times we don't know and we don't understand that one thing that is supposed to complete us and satisfy us is the Lord Jesus Christ. But many times we find ourselves trying to fill our lives and our hearts with other things of the world. We may feel like this relationship is going to satisfy us and complete us and give us everything that we're looking for. We may feel like this job is going to complete us, or we may feel like money is going to complete us. So we may go and get 2, 3 jobs because we feel like if I don't have money, then I don't have nothing else. I feel like money is going to give me access to every and anything. I feel like this is going to complete me. Or I feel like a family is going to complete me. Or I feel like, you know, being friends with this group of people is going to complete me. I feel like fornicating is going to complete me. I feel like smoking marijuana is going to complete me. Or, popping pills is going to complete me. I feel like going to the club is going to complete me. I feel like taking on this image is going to complete me and make me feel like someone. Taking on this identity, I feel like this is going to make me feel what I need to feel and what I'm looking for. I feel like dressing in a provocative way is going to make me feel complete. Why? Because I don't really know who I am. Why? Because I'm searching and I'm looking for something, but I don't know how to get to that very thing that I'm looking for. And a lot of times we find ourselves like we're good as people. We're good with putting up a front and making everything look good on the outside, like a house. Just as you see this picture here, if you've ever seen a house or a road past someone's house and you went in and the house was just totally different from the way the outside looked. Like what I mean by that, you might have pulled up and it was like a baby blue house with a picket fence. The grass is like emerald green. The flowers are nice and just bloom, just beautiful. And then you go in the house and you can't even see the couch. You can't even see the table. You just see statues and boxes and magazines and stuff from 1988 just all over the place. And it's like, oh my gosh, this house looks so good on the outside, but in the inside it's just full of junk. Like somebody need to clean this up and refurbish this house and get this house in order. And a lot of times Jesus compare us to houses, our body as a house. He talks about that in Matthew, I believe, 7, where he says, once an unclean spirit is driven out of a man, he walks through dry places and he end up returning back to that house, finding it empty. And then he end up taking with him, 7 more spirits. And there's another part where Jesus talks about us being that house built on a rock. So a lot of times we can give off this image where we look good on the outside, but in the inside, we're really broken. And we're good at putting up that front. We're good at showing the world, look, I'm happy. I'm happy with my life. Yeah, look, I got the perfect marriage. Yeah, I got this job. Yeah, I got this new car. Yeah, I got money in the bank. But in reality, apart from God, not having him, we're really empty. And we may not tell no one. We may go home behind closed doors. We may go to our bed and we may cry our eyes out because we're trying to figure out, what is it? What am I missing? I have everything, but yeah, I'm broken. I remember, me just trying to figure out what am I missing? Is it this? Is it this? Is it the drugs? Do I need a man? Maybe I need two men because one not gonna do it. I feel like I need two because one's not satisfying me. I feel like I need more money because one job is not satisfying me. It's like your heart is longing for something and you can't find it because you're looking in all the wrong places. And God is pulling on your heart. And you know He is because you feel it. All the signs are there. Everything that you've tried out has failed you, and you're questioning yourself. I don't know who this is for, but you're questioning yourself and you're trying to ask yourself, what is it? I still feel empty. I still feel void. I have everything because I had everything at one point. Like for many of y'all who don't know, I was married. I had a son. I had a home. I had 2 cars. I had all of those things. But thank God that I did have him. But even though I had all those things, I say this to say none of those things satisfied me. If I did not have God, none of those things mattered to me. Because God is the completion of life. He is the one who satisfies our soul. So it's not what we see with our physical eyes that completes us, but it's those things that are unseen, those things that we cannot see. That is the Lord Jesus Christ. Before I was saved, I thought having 5 boyfriends was it for me. I thought that was what I needed, especially, my teenage years where I lacked a lot of love. I was longing for something, and I thought that love would come through having multiple partners, sleeping with multiple people. I thought that was what I wanted. I thought drinking alcohol was what was going to cover up that pain that I was feeling as a teenager dealing with, depression, dealing with suicide. I thought that, man, drinking this Patron, drinking this brandy was gonna do it. It was gonna take away that feeling, that emotion that I was dealing with at that time. And a lot of times we use stuff like drugs, stuff like sex, stuff like going to the club, stuff like fighting, cursing. We use these things as a cover up to escape from reality. Like when I would smoke marijuana, to be honest with you, those were one of the best times of my life until that marijuana wore off. Why? Because that was an escape route for me. That was a way for me to escape reality. Like, look, I'm tired of dealing with the same stuff. I know I put up in front and people see that I look happy, but really behind closed doors, I'm broken. But I know how to escape. I know how to put on a show, but I'm broken. And I'm not really being honest with myself because I'm not ready to face reality. I'm not ready to face the fact that I really am broken and that I really am empty. So I'm going to continue throughout life trying to search it out. And it's not going to come until you get to that breaking point on the edge of getting ready to kill yourself. Because I was there several times. And I may not have shared this with anyone. I may not have ran to anyone because I feel like nobody understands me. Nobody's going to relate to me. Nobody could ever have gone through what I went through. And I found myself trying to take the easy way out. Why? Because I didn't want to own it to the fact that I am empty and that the stuff that I'm turning to, the stuff that I'm trying to grab hold to for pleasure is failing me. It's not satisfying my soul. Yes, I have it. Yes, you may have the car. You may have the family. You may have the money. You may go on the vacation. You may be living the dream as far as you're concerned, but you still feel that emptiness. You still feel like something is missing. I mean, why do you think so many celebrities commit suicide? We see them on TV and they know how to smile when the camera is rolling. When the paparazzi is on the scene, they know how to put on a good show for us who's the onlookers. We see them and we're fantasizing about their lives like, man, I wish I had their life. Man, I wish I was famous. Man, I wish I was known. But yeah, you don't realize that these people are empty. They're empty. And that's why so many of them are committing suicide. And then when we see it on the news, it's like, oh man, I would have never thought that this person was on drugs. Man, I would have never thought this person would have overdosed. Man, I would have never thought. And then it's like, well, man, what was really going on behind the scene? What were they really dealing with? Because there's a lot that goes on that you and I don't see. And it's because those people on the other side of the fence. They're dealing with things, but they don't know how to deal with it. There's so many people now in the world, they're dealing with things and they don't know how to deal with it. They don't know who to turn to. They feel like all hope is lost. They feel hopeless. They feel like they don't have anyone. And you may even feel like you don't have anyone, because I've been there and I know people now who are literally in hospitals. They're on watch right now because guess what? They tried to attempt to kill themselves and they failed. Why? Because they don't know who else to turn to. The enemy's talking to them, speaking lies in their ears, making them believe that, you know what, you don't belong here. You are a mistake. You need to just kill yourself. You know why life is not making any sense for you? It's because you don't belong here. He's telling them lies. You got to stop letting him lie and tell him to shut up. And you got to run into the hands of God and allow him to heal you and fill you up. Because that's the only way your soul is going to be satisfied. That's the only one to turn to for rest and refuge. That's the only one that can complete you. Because yeah, we have these things. Yes, it's nice to have a family. Yes, it's nice to have a spouse. Yes, it's nice to have a job. Yes, it's nice to have money. It's nice to go shopping every now and then. It's nice to go on a vacation. But at the same time, does this complete me? Does this have my heart? Because what happens when this thing fails me? I'm going to be broken. What about those people, over the last couple of weeks in California? Those people, many of them, their homes were everything to them. It was everything to them. And what happened in a blink of an eye? In a moment's notice, when that thing is taken away and stripped from them, they fell to rock bottom. And because they don't have the rock to fall on, guess what? They fall into depression. They fall into discouragement. They fall into suicide. Why? Because that was everything. They invested their whole life into that house that they put their hope and their trust in. They did not fall on the rock, who is Jesus Christ, who is the maker of heaven and earth. So many of them are dealing with a lot of different things right now. And as sons of God, yes, we do have to pray for them and intercede if the Lord is leading you to do that. But at the same time, we have to realize and understand that the things in this life cannot have our heart. They cannot complete us. These things are here as blessings for us to learn about God and know who God is and to love God. But they are not here to replace God. Let me say that. Your spouse or whatever you have right now in your life, it is not here to replace God. Your job, it is not here to replace God. Your family, it is not here to replace God. For some of us that may idolize our family, it is not here to replace God. Your vehicle, your money, it is not here to replace God. It is not, because he is the completion of life. So allow him to fill you today. You don't have to continue living a broken life, because like I said, I was there, y'all. And I was not going to anyone for help. I didn't have anyone who cared. I didn't have anyone who would listen. Why? Because I was surrounded by other broken people. Two broken people cannot help each other. Two broken people cannot help each other. We're not going to go too far. Why? Because we're both broken. We're two broken people, and we're trying to fill that void, fill that emptiness with the things around us, the things that are temporary, the things that are going to do more damage than good. And that's one thing, y'all, that I could never understand. We turn to the things for one moment of pleasure that really does more harm than good to us. What do I mean by that? Like, you may smoke a cigarette to kind of like escape reality, but yet that cigarette, yes, is giving you pleasure for just a couple minutes. But once that thing wears off, you're back to reality. But then it has done damage to your body, your physical body. Fornication, it may be good at that moment. But once everything is gone, you walk away feeling just feeling like you don't even know who you are anymore. Like you lost your whole identity. You begin feeling even worse than you did before. And now you got to deal with the risk of being pregnant, getting an STD, or receiving something worse like HIV. So we have to really get to a place where we're ready to face reality. We're ready to come onto the knowledge of the truth and say, listen, you're right. I am empty, and I need to stop lying to myself, because you are the only thing standing in your way. You are the only thing standing in your way. So if you can come to a place where you're honest enough to say, yes, I am empty. I am empty. And I lie to myself, and I try to tell myself that I'm not, and I deceive myself. But if you can be honest enough to say, yes, I am empty, and I need the Lord to fill me, He will fill you. That is what He comes to do. He will fill you. He will deliver you and bring freedom to your heart and to your mind, to where you don't ever have to feel like you want to kill yourself again. He will give you power to shut the voice of the enemy up when he tries to remind you of your path. When he tries to remind you of who you used to be and the things that you can struggle with, you can have power to rebuke the enemy, and he has to flee 7 ways in the name of Jesus. So y'all, as you're listening, I pray that this brings freedom to someone and that you all are blessed by this. I pray that someone somewhere decides to be filled tonight and to let go of those voices around you, because sometimes those voices can be people in your life who don't want to see you do better, who don't want to see you prosper, and they can discourage you from receiving what God has for you. They can discourage you from being free. Don't allow you or yourself to hinder your own freedom. You know God is calling you. He's pulling on your heart, and you feel it. You feel the conviction. You feel that guilt. It's because it's in you. His spirit is in you. He made you. His spirit is in you. He breathed the breath of life in you. His spirit is in you. That's why when we do things wrong, we feel bad. That's why people call it a conscience, but that's just the Lord convicting us of what we did. It's because we know deep down inside that this is wrong, but I want to continue doing wrong, so I'm going to cover up that voice. I'm going to try to silence that voice with drugs, with fornication, with having multiple jobs, with doing things that I know that I should not be doing. So be blessed by this video. Have a blessed night.